Morning, everyone. Our question today is, are you wondering what to do next? Or maybe you think you have your life all mapped out, which would be the alternative. Our verses for today are Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Or make straight your paths. I was going from memory, so I did a little bit different than the version I was reading. But these are familiar verses, but they're familiar because we need them and we need to read them often. So in what ways, maybe right now, are you relying on your own understanding? There is a saying that goes, if you want to make God laugh, show him your plans. Our plans are often not his plans. And as our verse says, when we trust and acknowledge him, he will show us the way to go forward that is best and according to his will. So I want to encourage you to take some time, pray today about things you're planning on, and trust his direction and guidance, and trust him to when you ask, show you the way forward. So that's our verse for today. And actually, we're going to do kind of breakfast / dessert the next couple of weeks here. So this week's recipe is pumpkin bread without flour. So it makes basically one loaf. It tends to go flat after it's cooled down. It may not go flat quite as bad if it cooks even longer, but it seems to be done all the way through. So I was like, I was hesitant to cook it as long as the recipe had suggested originally. But I used a Corning casserole pan, and I actually put a bunch of parchment inside to make sure that I could actually get it out of the pan in one piece. One of the things you'll find cooking without gluten and without grains is sometimes you need to give it a little extra help to get it out of the pan, to make sure that it doesn't just stick in there and not want to come out. So I find it a safety precaution, whether it's super sticky to the pan or not. So our ingredients today, obviously I already made this because it is a little more time consuming, and especially the cooking part of it. So I didn't have the time to do that this morning. I will show you what it looks like though and talk you through how to do it. Now, you start basically, obviously, with preheating your oven to 350 and prepping your pan so it's all ready to go. Then you're going to actually combine all of the ingredients in a medium-sized bowl and blend. Now, I actually used a stainless, bowl that was, probably yay or so, because I was actually going to use a mixer to get it really, blended up good. And, just the handheld, mixture. And so you combine all the ingredients. So starting off, you have a cup of almond flour and a half cup of coconut flour, half a cup of coconut cream, about 6 drops of stevia. I used a SweetLeaf vanilla flavored stevia, and a quarter of a cup of organic unsalted butter, melted. Excuse me. 4 organic free-range eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla, real vanilla, not the fake stuff. Um, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. You could use pumpkin spices if your system handles it. I find some of those spices my body doesn't like, and so I use a slightly toned down version of just with cinnamon. And of course, a cup of pumpkin. Now, obviously, if you've cooked up a bunch of pumpkin recently and have a bunch of that handy, you could use that as well. I did not, so I used a can of organic pumpkin instead of that. And of course, it's already all blended up, which works well. So you just blend that up, get it nice and mixed and light, and pour it into the pan. This part of it's not the complicated part. You just pour it into the pan. You bake it for like 70 minutes to 90 minutes. I ran, between 65 and 70 when I cooked it, and it might have gone a little bit longer because actually when it came out of the oven, it was looking completely loaf-like, and it did flatten out. So sometimes that's a sign of it needing to go longer. Sometimes that's just quick breads. So it tastes good and did turn out well, other than being a little flat. So there's a couple slices of it. Obviously, it did flatten out. And we're actually going to take this same recipe next week and make French toast with it. So that is our next Tuesday recipe. And so stay tuned for more recipes, obviously, more scripture, and other videos that I will be posting. I'm going to be starting a podcast, and so keep an eye out for that once I get everything on audio files. A lot of my files are video. So I will see you next Tuesday, if not sooner. Have a great day, everybody.